knowing that there is something which is higher, than buddhi, one has to take Atma, and by Atma, conquer it. Basically, that's very straightforward advice which Krishna gives. Samstati Atman Atmana, just quiet or make stable the Atma by Atma. And Srila Prabhupada, of course, deliberates and explains this, how to do this. And he says that ultimately one has to acquire the higher intelligence. And without the help of higher intelligence, as he says, artificial attempts to solve this problem will not help. You have to go to the higher level and somehow or other accept the help from the higher dimension or from the higher level, which is ultimately Krishna consciousness. And as I said, here Krishna doesn't give the ultimate answer to the problem, which we all, one way or another, dealing with, and that is the problem of material desires, the problem of material inclinations, which are very deeply rooted within our heart. And the ultimate answer he already gave in the second chapter when he says, Rasovarjam Rasotyasya, when you give up the taste is still there. And we know this. Rasovarjam Raso Ati Asya. You give up the taste, you try to renounce this, but the taste is still there. The taste is pulling you in a direction which is not perhaps desirable or conducive for spiritual advancement. And then he says, Param Drishvan Vakati. If you see God, Param Drishva, when this action of seeing God directly will take place, Nivakati. Param Drishva Nivakati. Then you are beyond the danger, beyond the dangerous zone, so to speak. But before that, we're trying to give up, but the taste still remains. And whatever I will say here is more or less applicable to the stage before we're directly capable of seeing God. In other words, it's some kind of deliberation on what the Anartha Nivritti stage should be like and what it is all about, basically. And that's exactly what is being explained here when Krishna says, Samstati Atmana Atmana. By higher Atma, or higher understanding of yourself, you make the lower understanding of yourself, or lower layers of your being controlled. Anyway, that's the introduction to this, and I will remind you what we were talking yesterday when we were describing these four functions or four elements of the Antarkarana. I said that this chitta, which is the repository of all the karmas which we have, all the vasanas, the tendencies, the karmas and samskaras, the previous, and it's called karmashaya, means the repository of karma. All the impressions which are there in chitta in the form of vasanas, pronounced tendencies. And I described yesterday that there is, in this chitta, there is prarabdha karma, which is more or less a little part of chitta which is activated and active in this life. With all the samskaras working and making our personality or our mind. And then there is ego. It forms an ego, basically. It forms the understanding of what I am, which is formed by different interactions with the external world and through this manifestation of different samskaras. And then, while interacting with the world, there are two other elements. Please forgive me for my beautiful there is Buddhi, which is intermediate intelligence, or intermediate mind, the mind which is like guard, which is standing at the doors or at the gates of Chitta, and which is directly connected with ego. And the function of this particular element is to digest and to interpret everything. The Chitta is the reference point or the repository of all the information. This is where we're processing all the information. And there is external mind or manas. So this is manas, this is buddhi, this is ahankara, and this is chitta. And as I said, the very important function of buddhi is to interpret all the information which is coming to us from the external world through the mind. The mind initially sorts it out and says, I like this, I don't like this. And also I said it's very important that the mind can be directly connected with chitta, which is the case of animals. The animals, more or less, bypassing buddhi. The buddhi is undeveloped. The element of buddhi is not really developed in the animals. Therefore, the main functioning of our internal organ or antahkaranam is going from manas to buddhi in case of lower species of life. This is the what is called reflex, or how it's called, instinct. All these things, you have the reaction, and immediately you have the some kind of external factor which influences the mind, and immediately there is a reaction without any conscious deliberation. So as I said, buddhi is an important function in a human being, and therefore Krishna stresses the use of intelligence, the proper use of intelligence in many places of Bhagavad Gita by saying buddhi yoga, and again and again and again he's stressing the point. And we have to understand very clearly that the proper functions of this buddhi is very important, because as I said, buddhi is functioning on the basis of our previous experiences, and it interprets whatever information gets to him on the basis of this experience. I wanted to tell you a little story which very beautifully illustrates this. This is a famous story about two Buddhist monks. Once it was a little Buddhist monastery high in the mountains, and the monks were doing weekly Mauna Vrata. 1 week a month they would keep complete Mauna. So the head of this monastery, he was strolling in his veranda looking what is going on, and he saw one traveling monk entering the monastery. And he saw that the guard, the monk which was there, he took him and he brought him into the room. So this guard, who was a monk in this monastery and who was keeping Mauna, he explained to the traveler that they're keeping Mauna here.